Rand, I need another episode of Fully Cinematic.
Despite three DC cinematic failures in a row, Black Adam, Shazam 2, and The Flash, the embattled studio keeps chugging along. The DCU's latest release tries something a little different: animation. So dust off your intergalactic passport as I run down Justice League Warworld. And oh yeah, there will be spoilers. We start with the lonely cowgirl riding into town, eyeing the various gunslingers on rooftops. Of course, she turns out to be Wonder Woman, as evidenced by the golden lasso hanging from her gun belt. After she causes a ruckus in the town saloon, Jonah Hex bails her out with a bullet to the hand of a bushwhacker who got the drop on her. After sharing a drink with a new arrival, Face Off tries to recruit her to his team, but while she mulls it over, they both witness a newly arrived couple get clapped in front of their daughter, who Dub Squared saves from the Trigger Man. Before she can blow town, Hex sends a coach full of dynamite at the gathered crowd, which of course fails to kill Diana, much to the amazement of all the onlookers, some of whom decide she's an angel. DP and the one guy she hasn't rubbed the wrong way decide to grab supplies from the town store in preparation for Jonah and company's return. Speaking of whom, after implying that he hid his grandpa's watch Christopher Walken style during his imprisonment, Hex puts some hot ones in some random cowpokes. That night, he propositions Miss Prince, who elicits the details of his big plan, which entails destroying the town by driving a train full of TNT into it. Di derails the train by pulling up the tracks, but just after her new cowboy friend invites her to stay, he catches one of Jonah's slugs to the chest. Elsewhere, in a place called Shambhala on the planet Scartaris, the Batman engages in a sword fight with a Conan the Destroyer reject by the ridiculously on-the-nose name of Warlord. Once the long-haired, self-described mercenary is captured and taken to the barbarian king, he offers to sell out his boss, a wizard, for his freedom and some gold. At camp that night, the group's overrun by stampeding rhinos being pursued by a dinosaur, which they manage to gut. At sea the following day, the group's attacked again, this time by a sea monster who destroys their raft and snacks on members of the quest. During a mountain climb, a pterosaur causes further casualties until a ginger she-savage, Mariah, takes it out in flight and goes down with it in the process. Warlord's right-hand man, Machiste, is incinerated by a booby trap at the wizard's lair, leaving only two survivors, Bruce and Warlord. Disabling more devices, the merc without much mouth leads the duo deep within the fortress before convincing its captor to free him before leaving him to be killed by a rampaging monster. Making it to the stronghold's vault, Bruce reconnects with Red Sonja, who miraculously survived her crash landing, and a woman with amnesia when they're confronted by the wizard, Deimos, who nearly shoots them to death only to be stopped by Warlord, who's arrived with the decapitated head of the monster that we last saw pursuing him. They're joined by Diana, wearing barbarian gear, when Deimos transforms into a giant snake. For some reason, Warlord remembers that his name is Travis Morgan before peeling the snake's cap back. Immediately afterward, it reverts back to wizard form before disappearing in thin air. While Travis opts to stay in order to protect his people, Bats and Dai exit via a magic portal. Presented in black and white cinematography, we're introduced to rookie federal agent Kent, as he and his partner Faraday investigate a UFO sighting near a diner with the assistance of a cop, Officer Wayne. The diner patrons, including Miss Prince and the newlywed Langs, provide witness statements as a group. They exhibit paranoia and xenophobia to the dismay of Agent Kent. Later, after Kent, Prince, and Wayne realize that only the three of them can hear mysterious music, Kent has a vision of an alien and the diners turn on them. They revealed to be shape-shifting aliens in disguise before attacking the trio and calling down reinforcements from the skies.
This should be interesting.
They flee in Wayne's squad car with extraterrestrials in hot pursuit, and after blowing up a truck, which takes out their pursuers, the three locate the UFO and its pilot. Agent Faraday, who survives somehow, arrives urging Kent to kill Prince and Wayne. When he refuses, Faraday shoots him, causing no damage. The black and white cinematography then reverts to Technicolor, and the alien pilot is revealed to be John Jones, the Martian Manhunter. Agent Kent and company hide when another group of alien species arrives. They kill the Manhunter's torturers and free him, who then reveals that he's been feeding them illusions and that they're on Warworld. But before he can expound, galactic hooligan Lobo arrives on his bike and stuns them all into unconsciousness. When the trio awakes, they realize that they're in a clone factory and discover their classic uniforms. Meanwhile, Lobo takes an unconscious Martian manhunter to his boss, Mongo, who goes on a long diatribe that even bores Lobo. The big three soon suits up, and Miss Prince remembers that Kent's first name is Clark, and that he's publicly known as the Superman. After a torture session, Lobo, who Mongo views as a dog, frees M-Dub so that he can get one good shot in at his captor. One of Mongo's white Martian minions notices security breaches, prompting Elbow to admit that he freed the trio instead of killing them, as Mongo instructed. Soups laser eyes his way into the control room and all breaks loose, including Double M briefly strangling Mongo. When Lobo expresses disappointment at Mr. Jones' failure to kill Mongo, declaring that he owed him for freeing him, John reveals that he planted the suggestion in Lobo's mind in the first place. John sets Warworld to self-destruct while Mongo tees off on El Boogie. When he lays him out, JJ siphons Mongo's power as a mysterious blue chick with flaming hair, Harbinger, arrives and teleports the trio off planet as they watch Warworld explode from a distance. We end on a cliffhanger with the title card promising that the story's to be continued. This one's a little tough to call because it's incomplete. The ending lets us know that we don't have the full story. Where I can fault Warworld is the fact that key information is missing from the very beginning. And Bruce's appearance in the Savage Land, as well as Diana's in Westworld, is abrupt and a lot of context is never provided. Hopefully part 2 enhances what we've already gotten, but I won't be holding my breath. If you want to see an animated movie featuring Justice League members doing battle off-world, then skip this trash and watch Green Lantern Beware My Power instead. In other news, it's time to highlight some comments from other shows. After watching my Jack Reacher Never Go Back review, user DV6UX9DR1Z responded with a heart emoji. Raymond Sanchez 4580's take on the same movie was, Tom wouldn't make a pimple on Alan's rump, much less a tough guy. Stick to love stories or go away completely. Tell us how you really feel, Raymond. After watching my early review of Kandahar, Spiritual Warfare with Prophet 4622 said, Are you angels? Idolatry and sexual immortality is a sin. Peter 2:4, For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. You got me scratching my head, Warfare. In response to my early review of Spinning Gold, Guitar Radio Show said, I was so excited when I heard about this movie. Then I saw it. It was so rife with inaccuracies and falsehoods. Such a letdown. Hollywood's given us lots of letdowns recently, GRS. And my early review of Reacher led Bahrain Chan WX6BB to say, Never told 2020. I don't even know what that means, Bahrain. Shout out to user DV6UX9DR1Z, Raymond Sanchez 4580, Spiritual Warfare with Prophet 4622, Guitar Radio Show, and Bahrain Chan WX6BB for dropping comments. And shout out to everybody who hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. But I've had enough of this conversation, so I'm logging off.
Fully cinematic.